What's up, alien savages, and welcome to another episode. It's so funny. I have something ranty to start off again. Watching these videos about Logan Paul and Jake Paul and KSI and Mr. Beast. Just like how people that are fairly awake depicting it, what's going on there. And it's a little like hating and not connecting it like I do it to the bigger picture of this is all perfect, every soul is perfect as they are and serve a purpose, and it's a perfect orchestration of synchronicity, why they demonstrate certain things of toxic masculinity and are not aware of it and broadcast it to show us our shadows and what we can realize to purge out. And he's like this YouTube channel I found. It's really good in showing the bad, but not like connecting it to the bigger picture. So then it's more like gossip and hate. I mean, it still makes people realize, but I don't like how he's like not connecting it to the bigger picture, but like hating, you know. Like my last podcast about Mr. Beast, I was like speaking my own frustration, and then always I connected to the bigger picture because like I hit this awakening where I cannot not connect to the bigger picture anymore. I always see like, why this is playing out and how everything is serving us. And this is like what I was missing in the video. But anyways, he had like this video, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul and KSI, it's like three of the biggest YouTuber. They like brought out this lunchy product. It's like a lunch pack, and to like basically make a lot of money, and they don't really like each other. You can really feel it, and it's so cringe. And he like put together the best moment, and it's just so cringe, but also like entertaining. And then, but it's so funny to like, what is funny? I mean, it is really interesting to see the bigger picture. And I don't know why I'm ranting about it. Let's just flow. Because here's why. Because I used to be not that awake, and I used to love watching Logan Paul and Jake Paul. I used to love watching their vlogs, and it was mostly like it was a lot coming from my ego that is like, but also back then they really brought in. They're like starseeds, 100%. They're like such lights, like all of them. And right now, we're like really facing our shit. There's so much light in this reality that all our shadows are exposed. So those three on a podcast, it just shows all their shit. They cannot hide it. Like in a podcast, you cannot hide it. And it's just like, they're like, wow, they show us, if you're like, I don't know, above 20 years old, or like age doesn't matter. But I feel like a lot of their audience that loves them, embraces them, are just like not so awake teenagers, who are still like, wow. Because they all carry some light, like a big light inside of them. But also have like massive egos and just like ate so much on this buffet of this world. And this world is really shit. It's like run by men, toxic masculinity. And if you like mostly are successful in this world, you ate from that, so you have it in your system, and it was like serving you to get successful in this world. But what is success, and where are we shifting? If you like actually wanna be part of the awakening timeline, you gotta purge that out, because these things are so low vibe. They cannot shift with us. You have to purge out your negative ego, your fear-based beliefs, all this like low vibe stuff you have to purge out. And now it's like really getting on the table, because we collectively have shifted in a reality that is so high vibe, so much light, that all the shadows are exposed. And like back then when I watched Logan Paul, it was like so nice to like do my daily vlogs and be excited. But also I felt like a little puppet, and it was all great. Like it was all perfect. There's no judgment. Like I was so happy. It's just like I see it from my perspective now. And of course, from my perspective, the old Ferdi before my walk-in experience, 2020, when I had the 5th surgery, when I did like daily vlogs, 2019, I was fairly basic. And my dreams were so shallow. They were like ego-based of like, if I go in my imagination, it was something like, I'm gonna be a big influencer and I'm gonna be a German rapper and I have a big following and everywhere I go I'm gonna be recognized and I do good. Like again, I'm under the umbrella of good. Like I like be positive and be an example of following your joy and healthy lifestyle choices, which is all great. But the underlying vibration was ego based. Me. Look at me. Oh. And these and I really like I woke up too much that these dreams they hold no weight anymore because the reality I experience now is overwhelming in comparison to that. It's like I love to give this example of like I used to eat like artificial strawberries. And now I get to experience organic, big, juicy, trippy strawberries. And of course, it's just common sense. Of course I want that. And this is like a metaphor for what for the ego is like, wow. The ego is like, it's so basic and it's never satisfied. You just want more and more and you're never happy. Like whenever I had like back then a viral video or something, I was like, yes. But I was like, it didn't even mean anything to me because now I need to do the next one. It's like an endless machine. It's a hamster wheel. It's like, it will never satisfy you. Like never. You will reach true happiness, like lasting fulfillment. And what I'm talking about, like purging the negative ego out and coming from the heart and expanding your heart space. And then this, when you're just like a good human being coming from the heart, being humbly yourself, seeing God in everything, because you like hit that awakening where you like follow your joy. And by following your joy every moment, you see God, source, creation in everything reflected. And thus you're like always in the state of, I am arrived. Whoa, it's like, the ego again, it's like, I wanna like, there's something so big inside of me, but there's nothing in the 3D now. And I see like other people doing something in Kopangan and then I'm like, I don't wanna be a facilitator in Kopangan and I do whatever, a play party and then it's great, but then next month another one and next week another. It's just like, it becomes repetitive. Like always, I was always like, my soul wants to keep growing and expand. And then I was like, but what is the ego tries to like, what is the thing? And then it's just like laughing because it's so simple. Because it's like, if you actually like follow your joy back to the formula, follow your highest excitement, this magnetic pull of this is who you are. And if you're in that state, like I want to tell you about yesterday. Yesterday I had such a God's day. It was like beyond. And it's like you are in this arrived state where you see the divine in everything. You're establishing a direct connection to God. And then it's not about becoming anymore in the sense of ego-driven. It's like, sure, like I remember it's going inward. I remember more and more of who I am. And also, every state is perfect. It's its means to an end. I'm like, wow, this is it. And then you just like humble down, and all that remains is gratitude. And I really, most of the time, most of my days, I find myself in this state. And then something comes up, and then I still have like something to purge out. I still have like some remaining negative ego that I'm really aware of, and it comes in waves, Like when my ex-partner, when she hosts one of the play parties, I get triggered and there's something I look at because there's like this remaining ego that like, I want to do that. And then I host myself through of like, no, actually I don't. It was so amazing. This chapter was so amazing because it was my highest excitement. But now it would just come from a low vibe ego place for me. I think what she is doing is super divine and it's exactly what she's meant to do right now and it's amazing. But I'm just speaking about me. And then really identifying where this is coming from. So yeah, it's just so interesting. Like maybe I linked the video down below. I mean, it's a little hateful, but it's just so interesting to see their dynamic, how they're like Logan Paul, KSI, and Mr. Beast. And there's no judgment whatsoever. It's just like, it is what it is. They're like, they haven't done their inner work. They like ate themselves full of this material world and their egos are like oversaturated and they get braced for it because it's mostly still the old world, But now people are really waking up where, again, you and I, we shifted in such a high vibe earth where it's like all the shadows are exposed. So they're coming to the surface. And they are really important, these three. I mean what is important, like we all are important, but what I mean in demonstrating, showcasing our shit. Because if it's not on the table, if we don't see it, we don't know what we need to face, what we need to work through. And you maybe also like watch this video and like, and then as a reflection, you can realize yourself, I see myself in all of them, like Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, KSI. I see myself so. I have like a similar ego coming from the same industry and having like my ego like really fat and like really being like a white boy, privileged German. I really like took advantage of that. But now I'm like, I want to change the world, you know, and by changing the world, by saving the world, I got to save myself. So that's why I purged it all out. And that's why I shifted in a world that is so high vibe. And you as well, because we perceive each other, like we perceive each other's version that have a version in this high vibe earth. So by doing my inner work, I see it reflected in the outside. So that's why, like, yeah, we shift away from this world where, you know, this like man-made world, like this darkness age of like run by toxic masculinity. It's dying big times where we're shifting. Too much light, it's exposed, and they're such amazing puppets to still be full of that, and actually like little boys that are not powerful at all. Take away their numbers, take away their materialistic objects, put them naked in a room, you see little boys that haven't done their inner work, and there's no judgment or anything. It's just where we shift. You don't take anything with you. You don't take anything of your money, of your status, of your 3D belongings, nothing. Like when you ever have taken like mushrooms or something, a higher dosage. It's like this big money on my account. I cannot hold on to it. It's like it's not graspable anymore. It's like it holds no weight because you take nothing home. Like the only thing that you carry temporarily is your meat suit. So take great care of it. But even that is temporarily. And you have to look at yourself on the other side, in spirit, home, having your life review, and let's not make it tough. Let's look at our stuff step by step, doing ceremonies, whatever comes up, going in, being honest to ourselves, and transforming those fear-based beliefs, purging out our negative ego. So already for me, it's so easy to actually look at myself. And now when I look at videos from like 5 years ago, there's like this and that. There's like my light is big. And there's also my shadows, like my negative ego, and I look back at that and I cringe. And there's no judgment at all. Like I'm so proud of myself, and I wanted to experience it all. It's just like I realized, and I'm happy I don't carry that in me anymore, because now, if you haven't done your work, it's like getting exponential. That because we're shifting in such a high vibe earth, if you haven't looked at your stuff, you're like getting shaken awake. And most people are not morning people, morning persons. A morning person. Is that the word? So, yeah. Yeah. The furthest of them is definitely Jake Paul. Like I still have so much respect for Jake Paul. Like he's like, I can see it. He still has like a massive ego, and of course, in order to do that, you have to have a massive ego. If he completely, like, let's talk about Jake Paul. If he purged out his negative ego, he wouldn't care about doing these big fights anymore and getting these numbers. And, like, of course, fighting is most likely his highest excitement. He would love to have these fights, but he wouldn't care about promoting them in this way, where he, like, really, like, puts everything of his power, potential, blood, sweat, soul, tears into promoting these fights to get the millions of views, which is all ego-based. But once this is purged out, you're like, oh, it's just synchronistically finding the people that it's meant to find, and it's probably just a couple 100,000 people, and they will just, like, because they already know me and love it and synchronistically are drawn to it. Like, you watch every podcast of mine where you feel there is something in it for you. And the others, I'm not like, watch them. I'm like, please don't. If you don't feel excited, then there is nothing in it for you. And sure, this is still a thing that I'm like, that keeps coming up. Like, oh, why am I not a quote-unquote big deal anymore in the 3D? And gets so little views, and but it's like it's such a little voice, and I've so identified it that I put it here outside and I host myself through, and it just always is like, it holds no weight. I know who I am, and I'm living such a fulfilled life, and this is it. A direct connection to source, God, the total sovereignness, the total freedom I experience. Like here, my podcast, I don't have any sponsors. I don't need to like make anyone happy and censor myself. I know myself, and I speak myself unapologetically. And this is so fulfilling. My inner riches are full. I meet God wherever I go. And this is like, that's what I mean with the organic, trippy, juicy strawberries. Then like this like liquid, like artificial strawberry is just like, yeah, you can throw it away. I don't need it anymore. My fridge is full of huge organic ones. Wow. Big shout outs to Faye, my girlfriend. She helped me so much. Like these ceremonies, endless ceremonies of going to the waterfall, many hours into the night, really identifying the voices to the bottom and really hosting myself through and seeing they don't hold weight anymore. And it's so beautiful to like, I had quite a lot of toxic masculinity traits inside of me. This like, I want a hotter girlfriend, and I want like objectifying and like look at her and look at me, and what else? Status and illusion of power and power dynamics and control. And in the past, like I had it all and I used it for good. Like my light is really big. I don't ever remembering using it not for good, or if, then I always have like balance it. I just cannot. I cannot do it. Like everything inside of me is like is balanced because this is my nature and this is what I bring here. That's why you love listening to me, because this is a safe space for an hour where my podcast is just a reminder, find your center. This is a safe space for you where you feel alignment in yourself, because everything I say, I balance it out. You see, I don't speak shit about anyone. I love Logan Paul, Jack. I see myself in everyone. I see myself in them, and I realize, and I speak the realized vibration, what they carry, and there is no judgment. Like, look at me. I also had most of these things inside of me, and I can identify it, and I see myself in them, and I purge it out because it simply doesn't serve me anymore. Because it's like such common sense. It's not like, I'm better. It's just like, once you've experienced unconditional love, it's like you want nothing else. Like, why would you go back to like this? Like, ego is like so seeking, you know? Why, like, now, like, I wake up and Faye is next to me, and like this moment, like these moments, or like sharing my life with her, like this is like actual family that you love. Like, again, because Faye and I were both on the same level, no attachment, whatever. We're like, thank you how much your reflection allows me to feel connected to source, to God. By her and I coming together, we feel this direct connection to source, to God, to all that is, so well. And it's not like, you know, from the ego coming like, you need me, right? You need me, like attachment and projecting it on someone else that they make you whole and fulfill you. But when you actually, you know, balance your divine feminine, masculine inside of you, are like a realized individual that knows thyself in alignment, reaching enlightenment, at a certain vibration, we're in such a high vibe earth that is calling for union, for divine union in everything. In your romantic counterpart, in your family, in your bros, in your loved ones, in your little sisters, big brothers, everything. But especially in romantic partnerships. So it's just like, of course, once you reach the state, your divine counterpart just finds you. And you know, first with her, I wanted to run away because I still had quite a lot of ego that then with her huge light of Faye got so exposed. How could I see it before? No one could mirror it me because it was in the shadow and there wasn't enough light to like shed lightness on it. And she came with a huge light. Wow. oh, I wanted to run away, but I could, and then like waterfall after waterfall after waterfall. And now I can really say I love her so much. I really now can receive her. I really see her. And like this morning, I woke up and she's like naked, playing the piano, playing Christmas songs. And this is like everything, you know? Wow. Yeah, so. And then what remains? So grateful, gratitude and prayers. This is what remains. This is like this enlightened state. And I'm not saying I'm enlightened, I'm saying there are infinite states of enlightenment, but this is the timeline we're picking. If you're coming into alignment, into balance, following your joy always brings you into balance. This is leading to enlightenment. And then like there are infinite levels of enlightenment, like it never stops, never began. So yeah, so right now in the timeline, shadows are exposed. It's our inner work, and that's why for me it's like fun to watch like podcasts like these, where like Logan Paul and stuff, or Mr. Beast, to like cringe out, and also like realize. Let's take a deep breath. Fully exhale. And inhale. Yeah. If you wonder why I don't play music today, my MacBook broke. There's a funny synchronicity story around it. I'm gonna tell you in a moment. But yeah, let's see how I feel about this without music. But that's how we started, right? I feel really good so far about this podcast. I wanted to start a German one, but then without music, I was less excited, and I was like, there is something. And then I was just excited not to start, so to watch these like videos about like Logan Paul, KSI, Mr. Beast. And I'm like, really, higher self? I start with something like that again? Why? And then probably what comes to me right now is like, because this is the time of like exposing the shadows and realizing them, making them big, so we can all look at them like, this is what negative ego is. We all are fat. Like, we're all these like light souls. Like, we're all the same. Like, we all share the same heart, And then we come in this world with the shit programming, which has fed this, and now we have to purge it out. It's like we're shifting a world where we cannot bring it with us. It's too low vibe. So we have to do our inner work, and this is how we need to like expose the shadows. We can look at it together and really identify it. So that's why if you watch something like these podcasts, they're like, and that's why, again, connecting it to the bigger picture. Thank you, Logan Paul. Thank you, Jake Paul. Thank you, Mr. Beast. Thank you, KSI, for daring making a podcast that gets millions of views and just being yourself. And yourself is full of programming, and you make it so obvious for everyone so we can collectively heal. Thank you. They will already like feel like shit. Like, I feel like Logan Paul, he's like really going through it. He's like really waking up, and like obviously so, and like the comments are all full. Like there's no dynamic between them. They like, people are getting it, And imagine like getting like thousands of comments. Like Logan Paul, he's a strong being, receiving so much hate. So thank you, Logan Paul, for showing our collective shadows by sharing, because many people, they just like hide them, They don't share it in a podcast. And then they just like do unsafe things, like being really unsafe to women, and just like, how the world is run. And now these lights are doing a big service to the collective. So here, I always connect it to the bigger picture. So yeah, well, where should I continue? Okay, I wrote down some notes. Let me tell you my MacBook story, because it's, again, my series right now here in English is really metaphysics, the bigger picture, dropping in an hour of alignment. That here you can come, retreat to a safe space to find your center. Because what I'm saying is structure of reality, universal law, and I bring examples of my life. And that's why higher self brought me these podcasts again, because it's something tangible. Because if I just speak theoretically, it's way harder to wrap your mind around it and find it tangible of like, oh, now I can relate to my life. And that's why, again, like I wrote down things that happened to me. And I want to keep these English podcasts going. I really love them. And make it more tangible. So let's talk about the MacBook story. Because this is so funny. Like yesterday I had a really high vibe day where I was like, whatever, enlightenment. Like when I really like on a such high vibe and I'm so grounded in it, where it's just like nothing is random anymore. I'm just like getting it all embodied. And I'm just like on the scooter and I'm literally these days riding my scooter cross-legged. So I'm like in a meditative position. And now that I live in Bantai, I ride like at least 1 to 2 hours on my scooter every day. Like at least an hour. So this is an hour of meditation because I listen mostly to ceremony music. And I'm fully in a meditative state that for me, 2024, it's just more fun to be on a scooter and drive through a tropical island than Buddha just sitting in a temple. And no front, I love Buddha so much, but just like, I find it cooler. That's why I reincarnated in this one. In Kopangan on a scooter, meditating, cross-legged, and then there's a night market, there's some hot girls, and it's just like, and there's so much nature and a waterfall. I'm just like driving by and 7-Eleven, but I'm overall in such a meditative state, and I look up and all the stars, like yesterday. Oh my God, I want to tell you about yesterday. But first, the MacBook story. And this is again, every problem is already solved. Let me repeat that. Everything is already solved. They're like, we create challenges to grow, but we just create them to like raise our vibration, but everything is already solved. So nowadays, it's like, I'm so awake that when something comes, I don't freak out anymore. I'm not like my MacBook breaks, and I'm like, oh, I love playing World of Warcraft and I use it to edit and I have like all my things on it, But you can ask Faye, I'm like the most chill ever because I'm just like, I know how reality works. So it's like everything is serving me. So how exciting? What does it mean? And in the moment, I puzzle together the synchronicity and it's so fun. That's so fun. So my MacBook breaks and here's what I think why it happened. It broke. So I wasn't able to play World of Warcraft. So the last days I was super social. I went out in the world and I had amazing synchronicity, like I'm gonna tell you about yesterday. Wow, like next level synchronicity. And higher self is like, Ferdi got really excited about World of Warcraft, a little addicted, where this is a good permission slip to break the MacBook down so he gets off, and higher self could get me off World of Warcraft in infinite ways. It doesn't need to break my MacBook at all. But why it happened, it's because on a higher picture, when you're the programmer, you're like, okay, you bundle things together. I break his MacBook, means he's not playing World of Warcraft and going on in the world. And also, he, the German Virgo, already orders a new MacBook that mine it's getting fixed right now and I pick it up in an hour and they're saying it works perfectly. So my MacBook works again and I ordered a new one. It's Christmas. I don't have a Christmas gift for Faye. Synchronistically, she needs a new MacBook, and because mine was broke, I ordered the best one. Like I ordered the MacBook Air because I really love the Airs. The Pros are just like too heavy. Like I bought Brittany a MacBook Air, and I was like, wow, I want one of those after my MacBook Air Pros break because they're so much thinner. So I bought it in gold with all the upgrades. Like I upgraded it to like 500 gigabyte SSD storage or whatever it's called, like the internal storage of like 500 something gigabytes. And like the internal gigabytes, like I updated to like 25 gigabytes and I took the M3 chip and I took the 15-inch screen, like everything to the max. So it was like 2,500 euro or something in golden, And it's most likely Faye's Christmas gift. That because of that I ordered. And then there's like there's so much to it. Like these were like some of the main things why it broke. Also, when I brought it to the repair shop in Tongsala, I bumped into a friend who I actually wanted to avoid, but higher self was like, you have to meet. And he's not so in the same, let's say, conscious places where I go. Like he doesn't go to Naked Beach and stuff. I think he's not so into the hippie stuff, but this person is like really into the tech stuff. So I bumped into him yesterday at the repair shop. And this was actually a really beautiful and I think healing conversation, which I wanted to avoid, but higher self was like, I arrange it. It's like higher self upstairs where you are, it's you, just like we decide to not be so conscious about it, so we can be down here and unwrap Christmas gifts 24/7 of like experiencing life, just following our joy, and then in the moment connecting the dots of like, this is why that happened and that and that, and be like the observer and the inner kid, like, wow, I just follow my joy, and sure, I can connect more and more to my higher self, but it's so nice to like be a really grounded human and kind of let another portion of you handle all that stuff and just in the moment be happy in gratitude and see like, oh, this is happening. I wonder. And then riddle solving with your girlfriend, like, oh, why did oh, wow, so exciting. Oh my God. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. Like, that's why, like, yeah, we created this stream. So it's a game, you know? So, yeah. So, and I was like, higher self, funny you, but next time you don't need to break my laptop to stop me from playing World of Warcraft. But then for this time, it was perfect because all the things I just named were like really like amazing. And then also probably, you know, I cannot upload kind of every day. It's like, because if I upload every day, some of you really like me and you just watch me every day, but it's too much. So I get prevented if I'm uploading a lot to upload every day. It's like, for example, after ayahuasca, I was allowed to upload 1 month in German and 1 month in English, which is a lot. Why was it? Because in the relationship with Brittany, I didn't share so much and I didn't share so authentic. I mean, I shared so authentically, but I wasn't aware of like so many things that were happening in the relationship that then after ayahuasca, I was so full of inner riches that I haven't shared. It's just like when I do a podcast, my vibration is coming out of me. My essence is coming out of me. And if I haven't shared in a week, my podcast is way richer than if I have shared yesterday. And that's why the sweet spot for me is like 3-4 times per week, a mix of German and English. And then my podcasts are really rich and also not too rich, where it's not just like downloads, but also a lot hanging out. I mean, this one is a lot downloads, which is great. And in German, a lot hanging out. But you know what I mean? That's why after these 2 months, Faye came in and I had to stop doing daily uploads because then it's just like noise. Then it's too much. Then it's like counterproductive because some of you just like build a really intimate relationship with me. But if it's too, like, you need to like also watch other things and be in silence. And I see this with like many other people that do YouTube, like Anakin, this tarot card reader. Sometimes he just doesn't do a video for 2 weeks. And often, if you physical mind want to insist then, like, oh, my MacBook is destroyed. Why is that? Oh, I cannot play music today. Why is that? And probably I realized that right now, not playing music. First, I'm like, I love music. But it's like, it's great. And it's, but I feel like it sometimes takes a little bit away of my essence. And especially in English, where I have it more challenging, I think it's gold right now. Thank you, higher self, for like putting my MacBook away. And I was like really like, I drove yesterday all the way to Sherlock Holmes and get Faye's old MacBook from 2017, and I was setting it up with my Spotify so I can play music, but her speaker doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, I connected to my speaker. Her Bluetooth doesn't work. I was like, okay, higher self, I tried everything. I cannot play music today. And first, physical mind was like a little frustrated. I love playing ceremony music, but in English especially, I need to be really focused to deliver a good vibration. In German, I'm like, it's my mother tongue, you know, it's way easier. And in English, I'm not there. My physical mind doesn't like my last 2 uploads. I could have said it so much better. And it's like the thing, forgive yourself. You can always say it better, always. And then if you like let your physical mind rule, you're a perfectionist and you don't, guess what, upload anything. Because guess what? You can always say it better. And then I just like forgive myself and I say like, I'm getting somewhere, and it's always about getting somewhere, but I know I can be better in English. And this one I really like so far. So I think in English, it's going to be really sober in a sense of no music, but fully me, and everything is on point. Let's take a deep breath. Fully exhale. And inhale. Thank you, Faye, for the tea. It's really nice. So, okay, about the singing journey. I did a singing journey here for initially 5 weeks, but I dropped out. And I'm going to talk about it in my German podcast, but I just wanted to tell you one thing, which is, it's nice for me to every now and then watch like a Mr. Beast podcast or something, usually in the evening, because then I'm like, I kind of feel like really accomplished of my day, and then it's just like, it doesn't frustrate me so much because I'm like, I want to downshift. And then it's just nice to realize, oh, there are shadows. And I only use like lights, like fellow star seeds to realize, because if people are just not awake, I cannot. It's like they're fully plugged in the matrix. They're basically robots. They're like NPCs. They're just like full of programming, and they act like everyone else does. It's like they all have the same belief structure of like they're in fear-based belief. They want to look good. They're having all the insecurities, and they just say what is good. But it's like a robot. But then lights that come in like channeling, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, Jake Paul. These are big like rebels of the system in a dense way, where they really go in the system and build these companies in order to do that. That's why they're so full of the programming, because they're playing that game. But then eventually when they wake up, they're using their 3D power to disrupt it. You and I, most likely, speaking about myself, I'm a step further, which is like not better, but just like higher vibrational, where I don't have this ego anymore, so I cannot play the 3D anymore. Because I have no thrive. Because I'm not like ego-driven, that like, here's a dangling carrot, and you will get more money and more. It's like, it holds no weight. No, my soul is starving. It's like self-harm to my soul. Wow. So I work in spirit. These podcasts, like I'm bridging the gap. Like, yeah, you can watch them in 3D, like click play in the 3D with your hand, but I'm working in spirit. Like these podcasts, we are upstairs. I create a container that is really safe and with my masculine really tangible, but my feminine, like I'm fully in spirit. I don't know if you realize. Do you know we're like fully in spirit right now? And this is the work that like we're doing the inner work together as I speak. Let's take a deep breath. Fully exhale. And inhale. So what I just wanted to say, you pick which environments you expose yourself, and the keyword is resonance. Your excitement will always lead you to resonance, and the singing journey I was in, it just wasn't resonating. So I removed myself. I dropped out. And why? I want to talk in my German podcast about it, but just the takeaway is, I'm like on such a high vibration where I have to be careful where I am, because I'm just so aware that all the people in the singing journey, I hear what they're saying, and I thought it's way more singing than talking. And when it's the talking part, like that's why I love singing, because I'm connecting to their higher selves. Wow. And this for me, I feel union, I feel connection. This feels so nourishing, and there is a lot for me, because again, the timeline, so high vibe, it's calling for union, coming together, group meditations, singing together, like amplify the energy, like bounce it back and forth. And it's like, wow. Like many aliens, they're saying first contact is only if you come together with like at least 10, 15, 20 people and be on the same vibration. Wow. But then if the talking comes in, it's the physical minds. And then for me, and this is my superpower, I hear what they're saying in the 3D, da-da-da-da-da. But I also hear, like this is the walk-in, this is my alien, I hear what they're actually saying. And then I cannot stop to start riddle solving. Why are they saying that? What are they actually saying? What do they need right now? What is their, and then I go in and I boot hack. What is their belief structure? And and then I cannot stop it for the next 3 days. All these people, I'm like plugged in, and I'm working out their like riddles, and I realize it for them, and then I send the realized vibration to them energetically. This is like my job. But then for me, It's my job to know where I'm needed. And this is by following my excitement. Like yesterday, I helped many people by following my excitement. And it's like, yeah, feels exciting. And people where I like synchronistically meet based on excitement, they are meant to receive me. I'm like a spirit guide that is like in the physical. But who can actually receive me? Then I'm excited. And if I'm just somewhere where I'm not meant to be, and then also my physical mind, my body, I just cringe, I get frustrated, and everyone can feel it. So they also like, oh, if he doesn't like it, maybe I don't like it, I need to remove myself. So I had to remove myself from the singing journey because I started working through all their stuff, and I really wasn't meant to be there. I just like get then really like frustrated, and like if I stay too long, I get resentful, and then I get in this mode of like hating humans, and I had that in the past. I don't let it happen. I could feel at the third session, oh, I'm at the edge of now it gets resentful, and then I removed myself. So yeah, but this singing journey is amazing. It's amazing for the people, for whoever like they are excited about. It's just like I'm just like I have to be real with who I am, and I'm such an alien. Like, and that's the thing. Many people can just not relate to me. They can relate to my experience. It's like if you have like amazing psychedelic experiences, and then you meet someone who has never done psychedelics, they cannot fathom. But once you know, and just my reality experiences, I'm like upstairs with people's higher selves, and I hear what you're saying, but I hear also what you're actually saying, and then I can feel your belief structure, and I start to like see where you're at. And then like this guy I met yesterday at the repair shop, the next hour I was like he plugged in, and it was meant to. Like I was meant to help him. Like for him, I know it. For him, I'm a solid guide. And physical mind, I was like, I don't want to, but he needed an hour. So we talked for like 10 minutes, which wasn't much, but for a solid hour on the scooter, I boot hacked his belief structure. And I really sent him the vibration of, I riddle solve it. These are, a lot of negative ego in him. Oh, he really ate a lot on this buffet of toxic masculinity to like do all the things. And now he needs to purging it out. Oh, he's the first time in love. He the first time said to a woman, I love you. Oh, he finally learns to love himself. And he finally activates his divine feminine, which has been sleeping in him, because finally he has the reflection of a woman he lets in. Before I was telling this guy, let Britney in, listen to her podcast, but he was like, no, because it wasn't like, he wasn't letting it in. And it's mostly, you need a sweetheart, you need a romantic partner, because then you actually allow yourself to open your heart and to receive. And then, as a man, seeing a woman, you finally, like here, tangible example, Britney, activated my divine feminine inside of me, which was sleeping all along because I never had a reflection that I saw and let in. And with her, like on MDMA, and then I fully was able to receive her. My divine feminine was activated. And then the dumb thing was, little boy Ferdi, I projected it all on her. I wasn't seeing that it's actually, she mirrored it, my divine feminine, and mine was activated. But I thought like it's all her. So I would like pedal stooled her and raised her, and like you saw it. But then after the breakup, I decoded it, like Faye helped me with that. And I'm like, oh, she helped me to activate my own divine feminine. Thank you for reflecting. But now I have it activated in me. Wow. Same with Faye now. Like let's just call it my divine ayahuasca grandma. But now I don't project it in Faye because I see like, it's me. She just like, there's something that was asleep is activated now. I'm less limited. Now also my DNA structure can change and I can activate certain DNA parts. And this is the transformational age. We're stepping fully in our power. Our psychic abilities are turning on. But it's all starting with the work within. Belief structure. Activating these things that are limited. Waking them up. Transforming fear. So I was doing that all for him for like a solid hour. And this was my excitement. I was meant to do that. And then in the singing journey, I was just not meant to be. I was like meant to be for a little bit, but then removing myself. So I just wanted to say this all for like, don't force yourself to do anything. I recommend. I need to watch Mr. B. No, watch whatever you're excited about. Like really always coming back to the formula, this magnetic pull, and this is who you are. And then let me now talk about yesterday. excitement. Oh my God, it's just like, I just talk randomly. I don't like orders anymore of like, chronologically, my day. I'm like, after the MacBook, on the scooter, riddle solving it for my friend. First, my physical mind was like, I go to the waterfall, to the nature. But then higher self was like, Ferdi, no, you were there the last 3 days, you're fool. And I'm like really visual, so for me, I mostly get images. I got the image of Happy Beach. Go to Happy Beach. And then physical mind is trying to like, maybe I walk from Happy Beach to Naked Beach and maybe I see Afro again, that's super exciting. So physical mind, blah, blah. But I just follow my joy without insistence, assumptions on any outcome. I go to Happy Beach, I walk there, thinking I walk even further to like the Naked Beach, but then I bump into a friend, Alisa. And I saw her earlier at the Aesthetic Dance, like yesterday we had a lot of synchronicity. And I was like, wow, like I really love Alisa. I did a German podcast with her. She is such a light. She's like 28 and she's like there are these certain lights, like Alisa and Eve, for example. If you also know Eve, like I also do a bunch of German podcasts with her. Like, it's like the younger generation, and they're like such lights. It's amazing. Like, and then we had this amazing dropped-in conversation, walking up and down the beach and hugging, and for like a solid hour, getting in our steps, and it was so nourishing. But I couldn't have planned it, you know. And this is like how I love living on this island, because it's already so high vibe that people operate in flow state. Synchronicity is happening in abundance. In Germany, in Berlin, I had to push the flow, the synchronicity, because everyone is like, I have a schedule, we can schedule this appointment. And sure, it also works, but it's way lower vibe. If you just like, for example, Alisa, she's here now for 3 weeks. And I knew I wasn't excited to hang out with her right when she comes, because when people arrive to Kopangan newly, they're like on trucks. Like the first week, you're like, whoa! And it isn't really deep. It doesn't hold much weight what the conversation is, because they first need to like ground in the island and get a more like grounded, objective lens to then like, oh yeah, the first weeks I was like trying to recreate my last experience, and then I went into the grief of the island is changing, and then I let this chapter die and close, and now I can really receive. And then we met, and it was amazing. So this is what I mean, like trusting your excitement. Don't force anything. And here on the island, it's like really easy to follow your like bump into people, like synchronistically. Like in Berlin, I have to often schedule with people, because I don't just like go on my scooter to the beach and bump into them. This is a small island and people are really flowing, so it's happening in abundance. But like in Berlin, I have to like push it and also like make appointments, you know? So I just like don't vibrate on that vibration anymore. That's why I live here. And that's why my days, like yesterday, if I backtrack it all, I'm like, wow, like I would be so afraid to miss something. But in the moment, I was just like following my joy. Like then, another example, I left Happy Beach and there was this guy. he's like, I don't know, in his mid-40s or something. He like built a big vegan company and he sold. He's amazing. Like him and we have just like huge synchronicity. And he's really waking up. And I'm one of his guides. I know it. Like yesterday also when I went to the Xantiva sauna and ice bath, I bumped into him. And we had like a dropped-in 20-minute talk. And this is what I mean. I am excited to go to the ice bath. I bump into him synchronistically. And I'm excited to talk to him. And this is when it's like, you meet God directly. This is who you are. This is what you meant to do. And I don't, it's not like, oh, I'm one of his guides and I need to charge him 100 euros for this talk. Or like, this is all old world shit, you know? It's like, where we're shifting is we're all following our joy. Everything is happening in perfect synchronicity. And we are the currency. There is no money anymore. Like, whenever I need something, and it's not about wanting anymore, it's about need. When I need something, there is someone synchronistically that come in my life that gives me that. And they're excited to share that. Like the ultimate gift is like being of service. And if I have a gift, if I have something to share, people who need that will synchronistically find me. And I already live like in the quote unquote future. I already live in the new earth. I embody it. So like yesterday, perfect example. I bump into him there. We talk for 20 minutes. I bump into him again. And he's like, what are the odds? And then I was like, awakening him to the formula of Bashar, and he was like, oh, and then I like send it to him, and after I met him, I was on the scooter and I was like really upgraded. I was like, wow, him and I, we share some really powerful connection. I'm excited to explore that. But it's just like, I don't do like really coachings anymore or mastermind, like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just like, I'm so blessed that I made enough money to now don't need to worry about money, so I can already be an embodiment of the new earth, be that and report back, be a symbol and see, wow. And there's not like, oh, I feel used. No, because it's my highest excitement. It's amazing. And it's all like, the energy is always flowing back and forth. What you put out is what you get back. Yesterday, I woke up. Yesterday was Sunday. Sunday, there's always the pyramid aesthetic dance here on the island, which I love. But I only love if it's my highest excitement. And these days, it's basically only my highest excitement if I'm full of the inner riches. If I'm like really resourced, slept well, feel energetic. Because I'm a really big light, I'm on a high vibration that if I don't feel full and I go to a dance, it doesn't fill me up, it's draining me. Whereas like, let's say you are like a little lower than the average vibration of the dance, you can go there and it fills you up because you get uplifted. And there's no judgment in higher or lower vibration, it just is what it is. And you just like gotta like get in tune with where you at, when what's good for you, and always coming back to following your joy, following your joy. This is the way. This will guide you. This is the way to remembering who you are the quickest. I'm like, when people still front it, I'm like, you go and you don't follow your joy. Don't follow your excitement. Be like anyone else. Be fully programmed. Do something you hate and be miserable and don't remember who you are. But if you like want to have the quickest and smoothest way, following your highest excitement is the way of least resistance. It's just flowing. It's meant to be. It's just like what is meant to be will find you. Unless you are in the way. So just like let it find you by being in the vibration or following your joy. Then you're like in alignment. It's just, whoa, everything in the universe just flows. The only thing is if we're in the way with this weird programming we have created to like have a dark age where we prevent it to wake up. Because this awakening can also be scary when you're too awake and then eventually you want a timeline where you reincarnate, pop out of a pussy and don't wake up. You live a quote unquote normal life where you're in the fear and you're constantly worrying about things and you're doing a job and you live a normal life where like I go home and I worry about this and I'm excited to like watch the news and whatever. And you don't even think about it. We're on a gigantic blue planet that is like flowing through the cosmos around a fireball called the Earth, the sun, and like a moon around us that is like so powerful that it makes the oceans move. Like all this bigger picture, you're just like, oh, I need to pay my bills and my son and my daughter. It's amazing what we created the system, but this is the awakening timeline. It is what it is. Our souls have chosen to awaken. So pick up the damn call or suffer. If you try to like push it away, your soul just like floods you until it gets really uncomfortable. Because again, this is what we chose. It's here, way of least resistance. Follow your joy. Follow your joy. Follow your joy. Really study the formula of Bashar. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. Go to Higher Mind, Spotify with like nice Bashar cutouts, and type in the formula. Or like go on YouTube and type in Bashar, follow your highest excitement. There are like so many, how he explains it, and like really embody the full formula. And that's it. That's really all what you're looking for. And everything else will just find you. So yesterday I was full of my inner riches. I'm like, Faye, I'm excited to go to the dance. And I went to the dance and I had an amazing dance. And here's a realization for all my fellow aesthetic dance lovers that are also really high vibe. This is what I really discovered yesterday. The dance for me is rather a shallow form of connection. I see tons of people that I know, but it's just like often like, hi, da da da. It's not deep. And we are used to such deep connections that I only am excited to go to dance when my inner riches are full, when I feel good and energetic and I have like deep nourishing connections with Faye, that I'm full and I don't try to get full from the dance. Because in the past, I sometimes went to the dance when I felt quite empty, and guess what? I left the dance feeling more empty because the connections were so shallow. And I have nowadays such a strong direct connection to God that if I'm not feeling full, I find the fullness in myself by like going to nature. But if I go with other people who are also not full, it's like the blind leading the blind. It's so empty. So I'm fully aware. If I go there fully full, I have my cup is overfilling, and I go there to share. And this is like amazing because people can really feel me. So if I'm like there full, they can like also raise up to this vibration. So I had an amazing dance, and then I was outside and I talked to some friends and it was so nice. And then I was in the hammock and I also like the sync was so funny yesterday. Of like I go to the dance and for whatever reason they let me in for free. And I was like, okay, higher self is like, Ferdi, you bring amazing energy to this dance. You did your work, your cup is full, and sharing this, of course you get in for free. I'm like, thank you. So I really also like worked my highest excitement by like I was shining at people. I was like, when you like really when you know people and they know you, but sometimes there is something between you and they're like looking at you. Is it safe to look at that person? Is he smiling? And you just like beam. And then they're like, they maybe look away, but then they look again and they also beam because they're like, it is safe. They're first like, is it safe? And you're like, it's safe. I have love. My heart is open. Because if you really, and these days I come so from the heart. And if you come from the heart, you see every human has a heart. We all have a heart. And guess what? It's the same heart. We're all unconditional love. And then, oh yeah, they have like programming up here, blah, blah. But everywhere one has a heart and it's the same heart. And if you like come from the heart, no matter what stories they have up here, they feel it. Like I have it so often on the island that my heart is so open. People that don't like me or something, I see them in a restaurant. Like I'm in Little Cookies, like this nice coffee place that I like to. It's this Thai coffee shop. And I'm there and there's this guy that doesn't like me so much because he has some stories, which I get. I could tell you the stories now, but it doesn't matter. And then he goes to the toilet and he knows I'm there. And he would like easily not look at me, but I'm looking at him fully. So he looks at me and he gives me like a fake smile. Because he's like, is it safe? What is his reaction? I'm just beaming. I'm just like, I love him, I see him fully. And I let go of the stories. Next time I see him, he's like looking at me first and he's beaming, and that's what I mean. Okay, iPhone storage is full. I do a little cut. And we are back. Alligators. I'm on a good flow. Wow, I'm so proud. Thank you, higher self, because I was really not liking my latest 2 English podcasts. And I was like, I wanna end off, not end off, I'm gonna continue, but the latest upload is always like kind of your measure pole. And I know I can be so much better in English, like really like my throat these days is really open. What I feel, I can express really well. But the last 2 podcasts, it wasn't flowing so well. Like it was still good and many of you love me and there's medicine in it. But for me, I was listening back to it, I'm like, I'm too German in a sense of I came so from the mind. And in German, I'm more embodied because I can be more slangy, more cool, jokes. It's my mother tongue. I can't just like play with pronunciations. I cannot do it with English so well because it's like I'm having an accent, it's all frequency. And today I'm just way more dropped in because what I also realized the last 2 podcasts, yes, higher self gave me the download, Ferdi, talk about metaphysics more. But physical mind interpreted it like, I need to teach you something. But this vibration is like really German, really in my mind. And it's not so fun to listen to something that's so in my mind. Today, we're way more dropped in. And it's not like I'm teaching you something. I just speak my like experiences, like something tangible. And you can just like relate to your own life, So this feels really good. I'm proud of myself. What did I just say? Oh my God, I think I forgot. Let's take a deep breath. Fully exhale. And inhale. Yeah, I forgot. So let's continue. And then I was leaving the dance, not like waiting, like, do I get full? I felt full. So I left it. My excitement is now to leave. It's like there's not this seeking anymore. I'm like, I arrived. I am God. Like, I have a direct connection to God, so I see it in everything. It's not I put people between me and God. That like I follow them and I go and eat with them and then I have an amazing. I have it constantly because I see it in everything because I'm tapped in, following my joy. Wow, full awareness, actually receiving, actually allowing myself heart open to receive, to see it in everything. When you're in your mind, you cannot see it. When you're in your mind too much, you're getting out of the present. Like, and we're multidimensional beings. Like these days, the mind is always there. It does what it does. But I'm like so multidimensional that we all are. That's what we're waking up to. That my heart is so open, and it's a matter of focus. Like, yeah, the mind chatter is here, but it's more in the background. And sure, then I'm like, oh, there is things that I want to process. Then I full attention on the mind, think it through, but quickly that I don't loop. I quickly like, oh, it's like I was at the dance and I was like dancing and I really felt the music and I'm like, I don't have this negative ego anymore where like in the past I checked out women a lot. I loved it, not in a bad way. Just like, it's beautiful. I love aesthetics, we all appreciate beauty in like nature, the golden ratio. And I also so appreciate beauty in women still, one of my favorite things. But it's just like in the dance, where do I get the fullest? Where do I get the God, the inner richest, the most met? And it's by connecting to myself in dancing and then to others. But the first thing comes to like feeling the music and actually like dancing to it and feeling good in my body, being fully in my body. And then something comes like a thought that wants to be processed. That's like really knocking like, hey, and then sure, I process it. I'm like, oh, this is whatever. This is just like ego. And I'm like, haha, fun question of like, if anyone, like dumb things. Here's what my ego loves to do. Anyone on this dance gets a number above their head on what vibration they are. And I'm like, I wonder if I'm like in the top 10 or am I like the highest vibration? And I was just like, haha, thinking it through and then letting it go. And then being like fully back in my body and really like feeling so good in my body. And then like being able to like beyond me, like externally. And then like these days I have mostly my eyes open when I do aesthetic dance. That's like next level, when you can be in the state, heart open, feeling the music, dancing, and being with your eyes open and not in this like seeking like ego, who is hot, but just like seeing energies, seeing like the whole, like this is what contact dance really taught me, because everyone is on this vibration, so I can easily reflect it. Everyone is just like in this like, we contact and we're like the wave and flowing, and it's not like checking each other out. Contact dance here on island is amazing to learn that. So I'm really on this vibration of seeing the whole tribe of aesthetic dance, like these, it's like 200 people in this big pyramid dancing, wow. And just like, and also if there's certain people I don't like the vibration too much because they're like whatever, not focusing on it, like really staying in the heart. It's wow. Oh my God. Yeah. So, whoa. And then again, like the synchronicity nonstop. After like talking to the guy at the sauna and ice bath, that was like really nice. I went into the ice bath. I do still almost every day, 3 minutes in the ice. The last 10 seconds I go down with my head and it feels amazing. Like once you've implemented that, you really don't want to go without. That's why almost every day I drive to a place, still mostly Xantiva, and do a good round of sauna, like really hot, and then 3 minutes of ice. And then heating up again, because if I don't heat up after the ice, I'm like cold for like 3 hours. It's not so nice. But yeah, I love the ice. And anyways, in the ice, I met another guy, and it was really nice. Again, thank you, higher self, because I was really curious, how was Britney's play party? And then I bumped into her roommate, because she's like sharing this villa, a guy that I know from mostly Naked Beach. He also loves Naked Beach. And like we're friends, and he like was really open. So his higher self was probably like, hey, Ferdi wants some information, and like also I want to feel connected, because Afro is still my baby, and I want to know that Afro has like a good roommate, and I like his energy, I think he's amazing. I think it's a really good fit. And it was just so nice to get like the information, like, hey, the party was good, because I was a little afraid that, the collective was like really protected. Like the landlord was like part of the mafia, so Britney could do all kinds of parties there and they never got raided. And a lot of things get raided right now, that the police just comes and, oh, you don't have a work permit, or even you have a work permit, they just want money, and they do like, they put you in jail for a day and you need to pay 100,000 baht. It's disgusting. And many of my friends went through that, again, because they needed a lesson. It's like, everything comes up, and we need also, when we're so high vibe here on the island, we need 3D challenges. So this is a big permission slip. But I was hoping that this doesn't happen in Britney's new villa, because she was like sharing it in WhatsApp groups that this party is happening. Because like, what an unsafe space to be like in a sexual party where you're like open and someone goes down on you and you're so open, and then the police comes in with flashlights. Like, this happened here a lot on the island. Like, it's crazy how like the vibrational shift from like fully open in spirit to bam. But thanks God this didn't happen. I really feel like what Britney does is protected, because what she's doing is really important. The collective needs these parties for people to like really explore sexuality, heal certain things, have a positive experience that was safe, and in general having like sexual experiences, like reclaiming your freedom, you know. And sexuality is still like a lot suppressed in this world. So it's amazing what she does, and I think it's like protected. But yeah, it just felt good, because right now me and Brittany, we don't have contact, which is really healthy, to like let our chapter die, and eventually in the next years or whenever meet as like really new people that don't hold any crutches to the past, but really like realize it all ourselves, and can then meet as new people, and both coming from a realized point that everything that happened in the past, we saw it was a chapter that was amazing. It was needed, like the good and the bad. And yeah, there were a lot of quote unquote bad, but this was like a catapultist, if that is a word, for growth. Like, we both needed that deeply, and not being in our pain body anymore by hosting ourselves through. Like, Faye, the last month, like, she helped me so much. I really feel healed. I feel so healed that I'm like, just most of the day these days, I'm like in gratitude, you know. I'm just so grateful. Anyway, so it's like really good to not have contact, but I still like, I love my dog. I still wonder what's up with my cat, what's up with Shadu. And it was just nice to like, feel a little connected there. Again, thank you, higher self. It's just like, wow. And it's just a day. And then in the evening, I got my papaya from my cake shop, where I don't want to go anymore, which was also like, don't go there anymore, because the Thai lady from the cake shop, she is really not doing well. Like, she's really not doing well, and I could feel her vibration is going into her products. And I was eating the papaya, and like, she cuts it. I'm like, I don't want it in my system anymore. She's like really like, you know, she's not doing her inner work at all, and she's like so stressed and negative, and she's pretty fat and has really bad skin. It's like all the signs, and she's like yelling at the people that work for her. It's like, oh my God, this is like, she's really not doing well. And I don't like resonate with her, so I'm not her permission slip. But I'm just like, I don't want to like put it in my body. Anyways, little side story. On the scooter, going to Sherlock Holmes, to the night market, just like excitement. Go to the night market. I see like, because this other guy was like, oh, it just came from the night market. Then I feel excitement. So I go there. I love this. There's like on Sunday in Sherlock Holmes, this nice night market. And I just love to go there and get the same thing, which is the rice salad. It's so tasty, and I like lots of yummy ingredients. There are now a couple of copies of that, like fried rice salad, but no, it's just called rice salad if you're there. The OG one, that's the best, for like 60 or 70 baht. And then this orange juice, passion fruit juice, so good. And then just like catching the vibe, and like sometimes some coconut ice cream or something. And I was just like there, and I was like, whoa, this is like overload of stimulation. I cannot be there for too long, because then I just like get numb, and I don't want to like desensitize myself. But for a little bit, it's great. So I get my food, I smile at people, I like experience it. But then I eat my food. I first went to the pier, but it was so full. Like, the island is pretty full right now. So then I quickly went to the beach and ate it there. And this was really nice. And then coming back up, like resourcing myself. This is another thing I quickly want to say, that in my German podcast, I grieved a lot the old chapter of the island. It's dead. It's not what it is anymore. And I really went in the human level, pain body, and I grieved it. And I let it die. I finished this chapter. Now I'm in a new chapter where I'm not attached to what Kopangan is. I don't know. It's a new thing. It's like, all like the collective, we don't have it anymore. Xantiva, my gym, it's a completely new gym. Like, I don't have any attachments anymore. And this is so free, because now I can, Yesterday I had an amazing Kopangan day. So my new chapter of Kopangan started amazingly because I let the old one die and I grieved it. And I don't compare it anymore and not attached to what it was. It's something new. And it's like now it's calling me more into nature, But still, like, the dance was amazing. The gym was amazing. The night market was amazing. Yeah, it was flooded with tourists. But I just then went to the beach and not sit where I usually sit, next to the musicians. And I had amazing memories there. Like, the Sunday, like, aesthetic dance and like the OG people, we all got together and we were like on this love vibration. And together we went like to the night market and sat there next to the musicians, and it was so empty and our hearts were open. For me, it's not that anymore. This chapter was amazing, but now it's a new one. I make my own luck, and yesterday, amazing day. So it's like really important to grieve things, to let it die, like the relationship with Britney. It's dead. It was amazing, but this chapter is closed, and I'm so excited to meet her the next years as a new person, because I miss my friend. So it's so nice to not hold on to that, to these weird stories, and wait for an apology, to let it die, to realize, and then open a new chapter. Can I get a hello there? Oh, then it was so nice. I met Luca and Sarah at the night market. Like, Luca, he's one of my good friends, and Sarah, his girlfriend, she is pregnant now, so I could touch the baby. And just like my inner riches were so full. So it doesn't matter what I like talk to them or anyone. My inner riches are full. My cup is overflowing. So my light is just like there, and I can share it. And that feels so good, like shining my light. So we had just like a really beautiful moment. Like, this is when I can then meet God in it, because my God is full, and I can just like even overflow it to people, you know? Wow. And then I bumped into Vicky and Sahara, and that was really nice. I loved him so much. And then I went back, and I got more food, went back home, and then Faye came, and I was so like, when Faye comes home, and it's just like, we're like, our inner kids are so out, our creature modes are out, and we're just like on each other, and like had an amazing evening. So yeah, amazing day. That if you want to plan it, like, oh shit, how can I? You cannot. Like Faye's birthday, she's like, oh, I would like to do da-da-da-da. And then she just follows her excitement. All the things synchronistically we did. Going to the puppies, going to the waterfall, going to Baba's, getting her matcha, like seeing her friend. It was all by following your joy. And looking back, I'm like, oh, I couldn't have planned this. This was like pure magic. But forward, it's just like, follow your highest excitement and enjoy the stream of physical reality. It can be whatever you want, and most people live in the biggest hell, and they don't realize they're living in hell. Like how does Bashar says it? He said it so well. Most people live in hell, not realizing that they're living in. Most people live in the biggest hell, not realizing they're living in the biggest hell, because they're creating it. Yeah. And we can really stop it. Like, what are you doing? Why do you suffer? Why, like, so it's like we all are dealt the same cards. And following our highest excitement feels the same for every one of us. It feels the same. We're full. There's this tank of joy that is always full, and you can always plug in every single moment. And sure, like, I'm also not there. I have, like, every day I need to host myself through things, and things come up, and it's challenging. And I'm like, I give my frustration voice and everything. At the end, it's also super exciting, but I'm not at this level where like higher vibrational beings like Yael and Sasani and Pleiadians are, where they really, no, I like doubt myself, and this is all important. And I come back to the bigger picture, like quickly, like in a matter of minutes, like 5-10 minutes max. Basically, I'm like, the bigger picture is always there, but I allow myself to really play devil's advocate to the max, to make the remaining little shadows that I have huge, to like really purge it out and get in this blissful state 24/7, every split second, and just like all that remains is gratitude. All that remains is gratitude. I would love to play this song now. Mama ayahuasca, all that remains. I don't know. It's like, it's a constant remembering, forgetting, remembering, forgetting, remembering, forgetting. And this podcast, my podcasts, are a container to stay in the knowingness for a solid hour. And then you can lean on me. Now I'm in your life. That what would Ferdi say? And it's just like a permission slip to talk to your own higher self. My podcast is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, find your center. Okay, let's pull one card. I feel really good about this podcast. And this time I feel actually good about it. Even though I highly think so when I listen back to this one. So funny. I knew I'm gonna. It's so funny. I knew I'm gonna pick this card, and I was like about to shuffle again, but then like, no, I'm gonna pick it. And it's again. I picked it in the last time I picked a card, like I think 2 podcasts ago. If you're watching visually, control. I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. And now we do it together. I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. So higher self wanted me to give you this mantra. This is, in these times right now, a really powerful mantra, what I just said. Like, listen to the song. It's actually a song. And then just whenever you need it, like, chant it 3 times. It's an instant shift. Like, if you're like in a state of, you're forgetting, chant it 3 times and you're in the remembrance. Okay, the storage is full again. This is a sign. The podcast is over. Please give me feedback. How did you like this one? How did you like it? Was it nice without music? Did you miss the music? I think music is nice, but I think I needed this little reset to like really put all my eggs in my basket and yeah. Okay, I'm really excited for your feedback. And yeah, the feedback, like if you give me feedback, it really motivates me to upload more in English. So yeah, thanks for listening. Until next time, peace out.